All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's class. My name is Megan, if you're new here, and we are doing a really fun, different activity today. I am going to be creating stamps, or a stamp or multiple stamps from random items in my home. So I have a potato. This is a very small potato. I encourage you to get a bigger potato if you have a bigger potato. I have an old sponge. You could also use a new sponge. I was just being resourceful. And I have a knife to cut into my potato and to carve a shape into my potato. So that's kind of a fun thing to try. But today's class, we're going to be doing some custom stamping. I'm going to talk through a little bit about like your design choices, like how you can think about your design, if you want it to be random, if you want to have a pattern. There's so many different things you can do with these techniques. But I have some paper to do some drawing, so that's what this is here. But I have a canvas tote bag back here to paint on. And I'm using acrylic paint today, and I have some fabric medium. And the way you use fabric medium is you mix acrylic paint and fabric medium kind of 50-50. So you take a little bit of blue or you mix your favorite color and then you add some fabric medium to it and then you stir it around. What happens is it allows the paint to set on the canvas bag so you can wash it if you need to. Okay. So that's the benefit of using fabric medium. In addition to my paints and my fabric medium, I do have a couple brushes. These brushes are going to allow me to, one, apply the paint to my stamp, like by dipping it. If I mix my paint here, I take my paint from here and I kind of put it on my stamp, right? So the brushes will help us apply the paint if you wish to use your brushes. In addition, I have a cup of water and I have a small paper towel for mixing. Okay. Now I want to talk a little bit about design. If there's any questions as you get going, feel free to do that. Ask me down in the chat below. I'm happy to help you. If you're connected to my Patreon space, you're welcome to chat me in Patreon. You can post a public message or you can send me a public chat. That's fine too. But I want you to think about some of your design options. So one, you can think about the colors you like. I might do like purples and blues today. We'll see. And I actually haven't even decided what I'm going to do yet. But I'm going to give you a couple different ideas. So I'm going to draw my paper into 4 quadrants just to talk through different designs. And I'm going to, I'll use my Sharpie so you can see this a little bit better. There we go. Okay. Sorry, my camera is not zooming very well. I'll zoom down a little bit. There we go. Okay. So there's a couple different designs you can do. We're going to be cutting out a shape from our stamp, which is really fun. So you can do, if you like, a plus, you could do a plus stamp shape. You could do like a half moon or like an orange slice. You could do a stamp with like a couple circles on it, right? If you're using a potato, you can carve a little bit more of an intricate design into a potato, which is fun. You could do more simple shapes if you have a sponge, like a triangle. A sponge, you can probably do that half orange. Um, you could do a couple shapes and do like a straight line with a triangle, right? As an example. Another idea you could do is like a tree. Susan, that could be fun. A tree. So think of simple shapes that you could create. Susan, you could do a little bee. If you have a potato, you could do a little bee. That could be fun, right? That's not really a bee, but I'm trying here. Maybe a little bit bigger of a body. Susan likes bees. Um, you could do a flower shape, like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's so many different shapes you can do. Um, Other styled shapes are kind of an oblong shape like this. And what you can do is you can apply it in different ways, right? So maybe if I have a circle and a circle, you can make kind of fun designs like that. So these are just some ideas. So if anybody wants to grab a pen and paper, to do different shapes or ideas. You could also do a heart. That's really cute, right? So think of something that you would feel comfortable carving into kind of an object like this, okay? Or cutting it out of a sponge, right? So you can use any kind of objects around your house to do that. Once you think about a shape, and it's going to come to you, I promise, and we'll give us a couple minutes to settle in. Once you come up with a shape, you have kind of two options at a high level on how to apply it. You could do it randomly, like a triangle with a circle and a triangle and a circle, and kind of put that all over your bag randomly. Like that would be fun and cool. Another thing you could consider is doing like a fun kind of mandala style design. So I have another piece of paper right here. So a fun kind of mandala design would be maybe you start with a circle and then you do a triangle, 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 triangle. Oops, like that, right? And then maybe do your circle again. So maybe you come up with like three shapes and you can play with placement. Maybe I do my upside down triangle, my upside down triangle, right? You could use the same shape and just turn it. Isn't that kind of fun? So I think this is the style I'm going to try. And then this is right now only two shapes, right? If my circle is one, that's one, 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 one. And then my triangle, maybe these are all the same size. This could be two, 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 and two. So you could come up with maybe make two or three stamping objects. Oh, here comes Debbie. Debbie's going to come say hello. You could do two or three kind of stamping objects and do a fun mandala design. So that's absolutely up to you. Okay. So you can pick and choose what you'd like to do. Now, I may do simple shapes like triangles, and circles, but you can pick and choose what you want your shapes to be. You could do hearts. You could do trees. I might even, if I'm feeling overzealous, I could do a half circle like this to tie that into my design if I wanted to. Okay. So I think I'm going to do sort of a mandala style design. Okay. Something like this. But I'm going to kind of wing it. So I want you to think about what shapes you may want. Okay. And we're going to take the next few minutes to carve the shapes in that we like. Now I have a very small potato, so wish me luck, friends. So I want you to take your sponge, take your potato. I'm going to try to make two, and I've never done this before. We're all having fun together. It's always so much fun to just try and do different things together. And I cut my potato in half. Now my potato's kind of wet, which is fun. Um, but I am going to think about what shapes do I want to cut into my potato. And you can always get a pen and paper to kind of think about your designs. But I think I'll do my triangle into my potato. Hey, Debbie, welcome to the party. I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out, and you can make it as deep as you want, but I'm going to cut my triangle and I'm going to leave, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is all for fun. And I'm using a potato. This is a very small potato, so wish me luck here. And I'm going to cut back the edges. So I have a raised surface, oh boy, on my potato. And that's going to come right out, just like that. You see that? And I'm creating a little stamp from a potato. Isn't that fun? So this is the cool thing about art. You can make all these funky designs and have fun without spending a ton of money. Just go get a potato or go get an old sponge. I'm going to test my sponge too. I'm not sure how the sponge is going to work. All right. And there's my triangle. You see that? See how it's lifted? I just cut around my shape. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like all my sides are not the same. But I'm going to make sure I have enough of a raised edge like that so I can do a nice clear stamp of my potato. So that's kind of fun. So I have a triangle because I did a triangle up here. Now I don't know if I can do a perfect circle. Um, I could, but I think I want to try. Maybe I'll do kind of I'll try to do a little bit of a rounded shape if I can. So I'm just going to try to use the tip of the knife. I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to do my best. And if it's a little off, it's okay. But take a minute to make a couple of stamps on your own. You can use any objects that you want in your home. You could use something that's already round in your home to do as a stamp if you wanted to. I'm just having fun with potatoes today. Oh God, I did a circle, you guys. It's not perfect, but it's going to be pretty funny. I can always modify my shape once I cut off some of the edging. Oh boy. Ooh, it's coming off. So I cut my shape first, and I'm kind of holding the potato. And these are small potatoes. You can do a bigger design with a bigger potato. We only had the little potatoes in my house. I thought we had bigger ones, but we had one very large sweet potato, but I wanted to do like design. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to cut into the big sweet potato, which the sweet potato probably would have worked pretty well because it's a nice hearty potato. But look at that. It's a cute little circle I just created. Isn't that adorable? And see how it's lifted enough so I can do a nice clear stamp on my, look at that. And then if I want to, I can kind of go around and kind of reshape it a little bit with the edge of my knife, which is really fun and easy. So just take a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. But I'm going to do kind of a mandala style design. This is so fun. And my
Megan,
circle, go ahead, Susan. How's it going over there?
yep, I found my fabric medium,
Ooh,
and what is the ratio?
it's like 50-50. So just mix your
Okay,
paint and then just put a good amount in. You know, don't
okay,
don't skimp out, but just a good amount should be fine.
excellent. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So now I'm thinking, okay, what the heck? Do I go get another potato, Susan, or do I use these two and try to cut something from my because I only have one potato right now. But let me play with this old sponge. Let me see if I can come up with another, maybe like a line design or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna play with my sponge. You know what else you can do with a sponge? You can do little dots, like little squares, Susan. So I could do a little square. Look at that. I created a little square. Or I could change the shape of this, maybe to be a little circle. That would be fine too. So there's like a little circle. So I could do that as a fun detail. So I'm being really simple. Look at that. That's a great little circle stamp right there. Isn't that fun? So take a couple minutes to create your stamps. As you're doing that, I'm going to let mine dry out for a minute. I might go get an extra paper towel. I might make, I have a little bit of a line design here. I might cut this in half. I like the ideas of like lines and circles and triangles. And we can play with color too, right? So maybe some of these have like a gradient on them. Maybe some of these are one color or another. But I have a couple different designs. I have a kind of a line, long skinny rectangle here. I have a small circle here. And then I have a circle on my potato and I have a triangle on my potato. So super fun. I'm going really straightforward today. Take a few minutes to finish those designs. So my intent for today's class is to one, do the stamps, which I've done. Two, if you want to be very meticulous, you can use like a ruler and a pencil for like the center placement if you want that to get started. and then I'll apply color, mix my colors, apply color, and then stamp them on. But then at the end, if I have time, and I have no idea how long this is going to take, by the way, we're all having fun together. Um, but, and I'm just getting a small towel to kind of dry this off. It may not matter, but I think we're just going to have to roll with it. Um, but I may do a little bit of outlining, Susan, with a little bit of white paint or a little bit of a blue or even a gold could be really pretty around some of these designs. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. So this is kind of a fun thing to try. Susan, when you are ready, give me a thumbs up when your stamps are ready. Give me a 1 more minute.
I'm good. I'm doing
Okay,
my
cool.
own thing over here.
Okay, you good. You do you, friend. I just want to check on.
Right.
All right. So what we're gonna do next is
Look out it.
I'm gonna zoom up and I'm gonna put my scissors away because I think I'm done with those. And I am going to find the center of my bag. Since I'm doing like a fun mandala, I have all my paints here. I'm just gonna grab my ruler. I'm gonna put some of my stamps to the side. If you're doing a random design, you can mix your colors and mix your paints, get all those ready. I'm going to do that in a minute, but I'm going to find the center of my bag. So my bag is 13 inches, 6.5, roughly. So this is roughly the center here. And I'm just going to do top to bottom, which is 15.5. So that is 7.5, almost 8. So it's right about, this is roughly the center here. This is where I'm going to have my first design. So that's going to be a good centering item for me of where I'm going to put my first design, which is really helpful. So I'm just going to pull my bag down a little bit. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is mix my colors. So I want to think about what colors I want to use today. So this is a really fun part. So I'm going to do blues and I think I'm going to do purple. So I'm going to mix the colors that I want to use on my plate first. So always mix the acrylic paint colors first, and then you add the fabric medium after. So I'm going to do blue and red for purple. I'm going to do a little blue and I'll probably do a bluish green because you all know me. I like bluish green colors. So I'm going to add a little tiny bit of yellow to my blue just to give it a little bit of a green tinge. And then I'm just going to use my paintbrush just to mix the colors I like first. So I'm going to mix my purple color first. If you need to add a little bit of white to lighten any of these colors, just find those colors that you like first. You can also paint gradients on your stamps too, which is really fun to consider. So doing a little blue on one side, a little purple. It's kind of fun to consider that. I'm going to put a little bit of white with my purple just to soften it, just a touch. Oh boy. So mix the colors that you like, that you want to use. Green would be another great color to try. But you can pick any color palette that you wish. It's absolutely up to you. Okay. So I'm just going to clean off my brush and just grab a little bit of the white. Again, take your time to mix the colors that you like. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of this purple. That looks good. I'm going to add the fabric mediums after I find the color that I like. That's a really important thing. So I'm going to clean off my brush. Make sure I have the green that I like. I have a little bit of the blue here. It's a great bluish green color. And then once I have the colors I like, I'm just being really playful here. I'm just playing with different colors. I just have a kind of a little bit of an array, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There we go. If you wanted to do your name, like the letter of your name, I'm doing one class that's going to be like a monogramming class. So it's kind of fun to figure out what you want to paint on your bags. And then once I have my colors mixed, I can grab my fabric medium and I'm going to grab a clean brush and I'm just going to pick with the first color. So I'm going to start with like a little bit of I'm going to do a little bit of the purple here. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in each of them. So you can see I'm just pouring it in. I want it to be like 50-50 there. So I put a little bit of the white fabric medium in. That's perfect. And I'm going to start with, I don't know, this purple, I guess. You kind of have to just pick and choose and just go from there. But I'm just going to start with this purple, and that's going to be my starting center color. And then you just grab your object. Hang on, I stuck my finger in my paint. And this is where you can just have fun. So this is where you kind of just you beat your own drum, you come up with your own ideas, and you just go from there. So I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna grab my purple, I'm gonna mix it around really good. I might go on just like the edges. And I don't know exactly how this is gonna come out, but it's all about experimentation. A little bit of purple, maybe around the edges. And then maybe I'll grab a little bit of this greenish blue and just put it in the middle just to see, hey, why not? Look at that. Isn't that so fun? I have no idea what's going to happen. It's like a fun little mystery. Okay. And I'm going to carefully put my brush to the side and I'm going to carefully move my paints to the side. And I've already made a mark on where the center is going to be. And I'm just going to carefully, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm just going to flip it over and push and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just lift. And I have my first stamp. How cute. And look at it, cleaned it pretty much off of that. So how cool is that? So I'm just going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to, but I'm going to find a little, I'm going to do a little bit of a pattern with my stamps. And I'm just going to have so much fun. So any ideas that you have, I like the idea of doing the two-tone. That's kind of fun. So I'm just going to kind of do the edges, one color, and I'm going to do a second color in the middle, just because I'm feeling a little crazy. I'm just do a little bit of the green in the middle. I'm going to put my brush down carefully. Now I'm going to position this so it is sort of aligned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. Nice. So that's really fun. I love the two tones. So I'm going to repeat this. I'm going to do 4 around this. And then if I want to fill in with like um, a smaller design kind of in between, I can. But I'm just doing the same colors. And you can do as much of this or as little as you want. I would make sure you put enough paint on. You don't want it dripping when you flip it over, but make sure you have good paint coverage on your stamp. That's really important. If I need to come in here and touch some of this up with the tip of my brush, guess what? I can do that. So I'm just coming in and touching up a little bit of the color with the tip of my brush. You could do that now or you could do it after, okay? It doesn't matter. Or you could leave it nice and raw. So it doesn't matter. If you like that stampy look, that's fine too. So I am going to flip this over and do, I'll do this side here. So I'm going to try to find the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of push down on all the edges and lift. So super fun. I'm just going to do the same thing. The potato is working pretty well. I'm just making sure you have enough paint on the potato. There we go. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this teal and put the teal in the middle again. And I'm just gently putting my brush down. I'm not putting it in the water. I'm going to flip my potato over and I'm going to do this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. So kind of fun. I like this. I like that I'm playing with different colors. The paint is coming totally off the stamp. which is really fun. And I'm putting a little bit of two kind of two-tone colors on the stamp. See that? And I'm just gently putting my brush down. Now, if you need to stand up to kind of reposition yourself so you get it in the right spot, you can do that. You can move your body around, or you can, if you can spin you're doing a kind of a mandala like me. I stood up and I'm just spinning around the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. So it's kind of fun, the stampy look. If you're okay with some of the paint lifting, um, you can always, um, you can always apply more paint to it if you don't want it to look like that. Now I'm going to go back to let's see, I have these little circles. I have my big circles. I might do some big circles. I have this circle shape, so I could do some in between. I could do it on the top. The possibilities are endless. Oh, I just had some zooming situation happen. That was interesting. Hang on a second. I had a crazy zoom. Let's see. There was a setting. Auto frame my video. Okay, sorry. I had a little situation. I'm going to do teal on the outside. So you can kind of pick and choose if you did more than one stamp. Some of you may not want to do more than one stamp, and that's totally up to you. But I'm just making sure I have enough paint on my stamp. And I'll probably use the little stamps after as like little touches. I'll probably use all my bigger stamps first. And I'm going to do a darker in the middle, which I can barely see. So let's see here. Maybe I'll try a little bit of this blue in the middle. Yeah, let's try that. Might as well. And I'm going to do these on the top of the triangles. So mine are all like not touching. Um, so I'm just going to do it here, and I'm going to hope it's in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm applying a little pressure. So that one's a little off-centered, and that's okay. I'm okay with things being like not perfect. But I'm going to put a little bit of this blue in the middle and then a little bit of this teal. And what I could do is if I don't want it to be off-centered like that, I could just do another circle on the other side, which could be kind of fun and different, like a double circle. Let me see. I could try that, might as well. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love like doing a little improv along the way here. So those are like double circles. So at least that looks centered now. I'm fine with that. And I'm just gonna rinse and repeat. So sometimes if you want things to look even, you have to go nice and slow and take your time. If you don't want, like a nice even design, that's okay too, right? You can just do those random designs. You can also kind of look at the shape, and my shape's not perfect, so I'm just gonna do my best here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's cool. So I'm just going to do the double circles just to make it look even. And I'm just doing a little bit of the teal on the outside and a little bit of the blue on the inside, just to kind of have a fun two-tone. And I'm being pretty generous with the paint. And I'm not aiming for perfection here on the colors. I'm just having fun. But you can kind of squat down if you need to get your designs lined up. It's totally up to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So equal pressure and then lifting. It's kind of fun design, just a little different. So it's really fun to think about like how you can use your designs and shapes in lots of different ways. And the more paint and the more paints you add and the different colors, the more the designs will come to life, as well as the placement of the objects too, right? So I did double circles, which was kind of fun and different. So I'm going for somewhat of symmetrical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. I'm putting a little bit of blue in the middle. And then I'm just going and grabbing a little bit of the teal and putting the teal on the outside. and I'm being pretty generous with my paint. And you can see I'm not rinsing my brush off every time. I'm just leaving it out there handy. It's because you don't need to rinse your brush. So I'm just squatting down a little bit and doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one's kind of fun. It came out a little uneven, and that's okay. I can always do like a little bit of a touch up just to bring it up higher a little bit. And that's okay for me. I don't need it to have, it doesn't need to be perfectly even. So I'm going to do again, I'm just going to continue to the design I'm doing all the way around. I just have two more. And this is the kind of the fun piece is that your stamping and your design, if you're doing something like me, it's just going to evolve as you go, which is really quite fun. And I am open to what happens because this is all experimental. It's really fun. I'll do one of my other little stamps maybe next just to show you some variation. But the potato's working quite well. It's not too messy either. Just don't drop it, right? Someone's gonna drop it. It's gonna be okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks great. It's like not perfect, but it's, it's quite symmetrical. I'm gonna have some fun with some of my little designs now, just to break it up. I have a little bit of a dark purple here. And no, I don't have a plan. That might make some of you nervous, but that's one of the most liberating parts about art is not always having a plan, just kind of being in the moment. We're all having fun here. So I have a little bit of a dark purple circle here. Let's see how this sponge does compared to the other one. So I'm gonna do um, a small circle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fun. I'm going to apply a little bit more paint. I'm going to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm dipping my sponge right into my paint, but I'm also wiping it off a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I might do a little bit of a dot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might do really fun, beautiful, like white details on top of this after. So these look like little ice cream cones, you guys. So funny. How fun. So you can see, how a design will just evolve the way that it wants to. So really fun. I'm going to put my little buddy down. Maybe I'll put it right there. And then maybe I'll use, if you want to add any other lighter colors, you can. Um, I think I'm going to add some more triangles actually. So I'm going to grab my triangles. I'm going to do some light colored triangles. Some light purple. And then maybe I'll put a little bit of green in the middle. So I'm just having fun here. And then I'm going to do some triangles. I'm going to flip it the other way. So I think I'm going to do it like here, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pressing evenly and lifting. And then just rinse and repeat. So I'm going to do light purple again. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the green inside. Putting my brush down. I'm not really rinsing my brush in between. I'm just kind of going for it. Which it's actually fine. I'm gonna do another one here. I'm just kind of lining up my edges. and pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. There we go. So find a pattern, find a rhythm that works for you. Allow yourself just to kind of see what happens. It's really kind of fun and different. I'm really excited to do some detail work after this. I'm really excited to add a little bit of white lines and additional detail work. I think that would be a really fun touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. So you can see I'm just staying symmetrical as I build my design outward. And then you can consider adding in smaller designs as you go. Like I added those little circles. You can always use a brush and do like improv kind of painting along the way if you want to. And everyone's going to have their own design ideas. So just kind of embrace any ideas that you may have of your own and just go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Nice. And I may stay with my triangle and do some nice brilliant blue and flip this triangle upside down on top of the other one I just did. So I'm going to do bright blue, and then I might just do a little touch of like some dark purple, maybe some polka dots. We'll see what some dark purple polka dots look like. I have no idea. See that? I'm just having fun at this point. And then I'm going to do tip to tip a design here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. So see what I did there is I extended it there. And those polka dots came out actually. That was really fun. And if you don't like those, guess what? You can always paint over it. It's no big deal if you don't like those polka dots. You can always put blue paint over that if you don't want it. I'm just going to embrace it. And then if I don't like them, I can always paint over it. So I'm kind of doing tip to tip here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. And I'm going to do some smaller designs after this one. So you're only going to be able to go out so far. So you can think about, okay, well, where do I want to stop, right? From building outward if you are doing a center design. If you're not doing a center design, you're just putting random shapes all over, that's okay too, right? You'll know when you want to stop or you know when you want to switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna do some of those long, skinny shapes. So I absolutely love doing mandalas, and I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do for design for tonight's class, but this is so much fun to just give this a shot, and then I can always do something fun, even on the other side. I could just do some random stamping if I wanted to. So I'm doing tip to tip here. And then pushing evenly on my stamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lifting. Very cool. So you can see it's fairly uniform. I'm going to look around to see if I want to add any other details anywhere else. I had a little bit of a smudging situation here. That's okay. Do I want to add any more circles? I might add one more circle to the top of each of these dots just to round out the design. So I'll do a purple. I'll do a lighter purple. So you can see I'm kind of going blue, purple, or a light and dark, light and dark. I'm doing that intentionally. And I'm just going to do it just floating above this design here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can always add lines. If you wanted to add any supplemental designer details, you can always do that after, which is really fun to consider. So I'm just painting this on. I'm being very gracious, and this has the fabric medium in it. And I'm gonna just come right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. There we go. And if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to post them down in the comments below. If you are interested in joining more of our classes, you're welcome to join us on our Patreon space, or welcome to follow us here on the YouTube channel. I'm just going to stand up. Sometimes when you're doing a design, you want to kind of reposition your body so it's centered the way you want it to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see even with just these simple shapes, you can create some really fun designs. I'm excited to try that line design next. So I have that line design that I cut out of a piece of an old sponge. It's not too stinky. That's a good thing. And then I am going to use that line design to add some additional details. So I have one more to add over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how pretty is this? It's really quite balanced from a color perspective. I have a variety of shapes, and you can see my potato stamp here, and you can see my triangle stamp. They haven't gotten too messy, so that's kind of neat. And one of the things I'll do is I'll save my stamps, and I'll put them maybe in a Ziploc bag and maybe put them in the freezer, and see if they hold up. That could be kind of a fun thing. But I'm going to look at my line design here and maybe just get the line quite right. It might be a little thick, but I'm just going to try it anyways, because you all know me. I don't mind just trying something. So I'm going to try a little bit of a purple line on top of, let me see here. I could do a purple line on top of the blue triangle. Let's try that. And I'm so excited to hear what you guys are painting on your ends. I don't know if this is going to come out thick or thin. If I had a potato, I'd have a more particular shape, but I'm just going to see what this goes here. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. Oh, that's just fine. That's nice. It's a little rough around the edges, but that's okay. I don't mind that. So with a sponge, the edges aren't going to be as clean, but that's always fun for you to consider, right? Let's do one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, all my acrylic paints have that fabric medium mixed right in. And I'm painting on the paint. You could also just put it in there, but I'm being a little precise with the amount of paint that's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So you can see I'm just doing some fun kind of stamping designs all around. I am really excited to do some white accent details. I'm going to hand paint those after, and we might even have time to do it together here. Now, my classes, if anyone's new here, they typically last about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So everyone's doing different designs, which is just something to consider. Some of you may do lemons. You could always, do an apple shape or an orange shape or a lemon. There are so many different design ideas for you to consider. Okay, so that's a fun design there. I'm trying to figure out somewhere else where I could add this. I think I want to do a little bit of a smaller design. So I'd have to figure out what I'm going to use. I'd like to do some smaller designs kind of in some of these other places. I could use this one. I could use this one. I'll go in here between my purple and these dots, and I will do a blue. because these are both purple and a blue color would look really nice in that space. So you can see I'm being really mindful of like thought choice on color and placement. Now, this is just something I'm just kind of talking through out loud for your own consideration of like, where do I want to put more blue as an example? One, two, three, four, five. That's fun. A little bit of blue. And the more paint you add, the more solid the stamp will be. The less paint you add, the lighter the stamp will be. So you can play with that technique as well. One, two, three, four, five. But this is very therapeutic because your artwork on your bag here is just going to evolve as you go. And you can really just be in the moment to see what happens. So I have one more blue line to do, and then I'm going to assess my design. Do I want to add any more? Do I want to leave it? Do I want to start doing some more detailed work? Those are all the choices that you can make. I feel like I need to do something within this space right here. So I may do, I'm trying to figure out what I want that shape to be though. I want to do something here. So it's like a little bit more rounded. Right now it kind of looks like a snowflake a little bit, which is totally fine. I love snowflakes. Um, I'd like a smaller tool. And sometimes we have to kind of figure out, do I make another tool or do I just maybe hand paint something in? I'm going to try to stay with the stamping techniques. I think what I might try is to use the round circle tool I have. Oh, you know what else I have? Look at this. This is really thinking outside the box. This is a piece of potato, and I could cut this into a new shape. Talk about being resourceful. So watch this. I am going to cut this into a shape that I can use as a small tool. And this just gave me a little square on the tip. That might be exactly what I need to do some of my small designs that's going on in my head. So I'm going to take a little bit of my dark purple and I'm going to put some of that dark purple on the tip of this. And you can see that's a nice little square. That might work for me here. So I'm going to be bold and I'm going to do a little bit of a square on the end of each of these just to test it first. So one, two, three, four, five. Look at that. That's a great little square tool I have. So this is just giving me a sense if I like this shape or not. And it's just fine. So I'm going to do this at the end of each of these designs. And then I'm going to figure out where to bring it in into some other places. Nice. So I want to do something in here. I'm probably going to do um, a blue color, maybe a bluish green. I have this bluish, maybe I'll do a bluish green color right there. So I'm gonna probably do like like a little bit of like a lined design. I'm not sure how yet. But let's see here. I might do one here first, just to be brave. And then I might do like a design around it. So I might do like a one, two, three, four. But I'm gonna get all the single dots in first. And I'm centering this dot my square dot in between these two elements. That's the visual kind of cue I'm going for right now. And then I can build upon it. So if you're doing like any kind of fun or complex designs, just do little pieces at a time and then build upon it. Now, again, I came into today's class not knowing at all what I was going to do, and that might make some of you so nervous. But I always love showing up to these classes with just the possibility of anything being possible, like anything can happen. Um, and I'm so excited to be here with you, and I want to thank you all for being here with me. I am going to do something a little crazy here. I went ahead and I added in two dots in between. And I'm going to be crazy and I'm going to cut my circle in half and I'm going to do like a little half dome on top of each of these dots. Or I might do a little half dome like on the interior here. Um, so watch this. I'm going to cut this in half. This is like being in the moment. It's such a good example of like not having to like conform to doing one thing or the other. Yeah, and I'm going to use this shape to kind of come. I want to do a little bit of a design in this space. And I think that will probably be it for me. But I like that little half dome I created from my circle. So isn't that funny how these like little magical things happen? So I'm going to use my dark purple and I'm just going to paint some of this on and see how this little half dome goes. And I'm going to place this right here. One, two, three, four, five. Now I'm going to, and I think this is going to look great. I really wanted to fill in between some of these a little bit more, and I think that's going to do it for me. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat this step carefully. So if you need to stand up, reposition your body so the stamps are exactly where you want them to be. And then lift. And this is the design that I'm going to do around these four. So I have one, two, three, four. I'm going to do this double half dome on the either side. And I think it's really going to be a well-rounded design on the detail for me. And then I'll do some touch-up details as well, like the white detail, I think. Or if anybody ever has gold, gold would be a great touch to your design, or you could just leave it as is. So every artist, you'll each have your own ideas, which is really fun. So always just kind of lean into your own ideas and see how it goes. You could do this by yourself. You could do this activity with friends. If you're not already following my channel, I encourage you to subscribe and follow along. We do lots of fun, different painting projects. But this was a really fun, unique stamping project for today. I hope you guys are all enjoying this. All right, and I am just applying a good amount of this purple paint. And I am going to use this placement. And you'll notice different areas that may need a little bit of extra love. Be sure to do an equal pressure on your stamp for the full shape to come out. I may have cut my stamp in half, but I can always make another one. All right, and I just have two more little stamps to go over here. All righty. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. So you can see how, with a little bit of an open mind and choosing your own colors, some really beautiful things can happen. And that's just from using a potato and some stamps. Now I do, and some paints. So I really do, I love the use of potato. That it felt great in my hand. So if anybody was trying this or maybe hadn't tried the potato, potatoes are really easy to use. And these are like smaller potatoes. So maybe try using a smaller potato, try using a bigger potato. It's totally up to you. Um, I will show you all a little bit of the detail work I may consider here. I may do a little bit of a gold detail work. I may do a little bit of a white detailed work on this. If you want to use a blue or a purple to do any outlining, that's fine. You could always just leave it as is too. So I will do, I'm going to let this dry. So if anybody would like to try adding any accent colors or accent details, you could use another secondary color. I have a couple of really unique paints right here. This is a metallic green paint, and this is a metallic gold pearl copper. And I'm just being a little open-minded on like how cool this could look with a little bit of like accent touch-up details. So, you're welcome to spend as much or as little time on your bag as you wish. Some of you may be interested in doing secondary work, detail work. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Um, some of you may or may not be interested. Um, I am going to just test it out. I also may add a little bit of white, Susan, but we'll see. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of this and I'm going to zoom down so you all can see kind of what I'm doing. And I might just do a little bit of outlining. And I can't forget to add the fabric medium. That's an important thing. So I'm just going to put a little fabric medium in both of these. And if anybody doesn't have fabric medium, I will drop a link down below in the comments or in the description of this video on where you can buy fabric medium. So if people have access to fabric medium, you can get it pretty much anywhere, but I'm happy to make it easy for you and drop a link, and that's no big deal. But I'm mixing a little fabric medium around with this metallic. It's a metallic seafoam green. I think it's light enough like the white that I was thinking initially. And I'm using a nice small brush and I'm spinning this on the side. And I'm just going to do a little bit of outlining just to see what it looks like. Now I can barely see it, so this is a good test. I just need to apply a little bit more paint. And I'm going to go around each of these edges. And if you don't want to do any outlining or any dotting work, you don't have to. I'll show you what a little bit of dotting techniques could look like. I'll do a little bit of dotting inside the purple. I'll show you here. So just a little bit of a dot inside the purple, a little bit of a dot inside of this purple. So you as the artist, because you're all artists, by the way, you can make choices on what you want to add and where, okay? I know what it's like starting somewhere and doing the detail work and kind of watching it evolve. I personally love that part of the process. So I just did some dotting and you can see it changed already. It changed quite a bit. So this is just a choice that you can make. Um, I could do a line at the bottom of these purple triangles. And you can decide again how much or how little you might want to do. I'm not going to do too much, but I am going to add a little line here. Since I did it on one, I'm going to do it on all of them for consistency. Sometimes people like using like fabric markers. You could use fabric markers. It's just kind of fun to think outside the box. I do think a little bit of white detail would be really nice. I would just need to figure out where to add it. Let me see here. I do have a little bit of white. I have a little bit of white right here. I'm going to mix a little bit of fabric medium with this. And I'm going to try to grab a really small brush to be in the most control over my detail work. And I'm just going to do some small white dotting. And there's a couple ways you can do that. I love doing like little white dots as like a fun little design detail. And that's what I'm going to do. So I have a little bit of white paint and a little fabric medium right over here. I'm just mixing, and then I'll just do a little bit of dotting techniques. So again, you can do as much or as little as you wish. And I'm excited. I'm going to share some progressive photos of this stamping project so people can kind of see the evolution, so they can kind of make some choices about how much work they might want to spend on them, based on some of the outcomes. So I'm going to do, I have a little bit of white paint. Let's see where I can do some dotting. I'm going to put a little white dot inside of each of these little blue ones. That's a really easy thing to add. Little white dots inside of these little blue ones. If you had like a white fine fabric marker, you could do some really intricate designs. I think that's what I want to do. I'm not sure if I can accomplish that with this brush I have in my hand. I would love to do some intricate designs. I love that. I love the illustrative side of creating things and doing some fun details, but everybody has different styles. So some of you may just wanted to stop with the basic shapes. Some of you may want to add a little bit more detail here and there. It's totally up to you. Let's see here. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a white line on the bottom of these blue bars here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a white line at the bottom. Maybe it makes it look a little bit more even. So there's a line, no pun intended, on where you go from like a stamped project to like a painted project, right? And Susan, I think you can kind of reflect on that a little bit, right? Susan did a lot of painting. She did some painting with hers tonight, which is perfect. And I'm adding in a little bit of painting, right? So it's kind of a fun approach, and those are just choices you can make, and there's no right or wrong. So I like getting that out there. I'm going to do little white dots around this dot here in the middle. So I'm just going to do little dots around this. I'm just going really slow, and it can be very therapeutic. A little bit of like a Zen design, a little bit of the Zen doodles, right? If you add some extra details here and there. I may add some lines. If I find the middle of this here and I do a thin line kind of coming out. Now I'm just being a little sporadic here, but I'm adding a little bit of detail here. I'm just inspired to do so. So again, if you don't want to do anything like this, you don't have to, but I'm just giving you some ideas. So I'm going to do a little bit of a line here across first, and then I'm just doing like a little triangle. I love geometrics. If anybody hasn't picked up on that already, I absolutely love geometrics. I always have been drawn to them. And this has some really nice kind of geometric shapes tossed in. So I'm just doing a little line for a triangle here. And then I'm making a little bit of a wider triangle here. Going nice and slow. Everybody has different size brushes, so just find a brush that works for you. Using a smaller brush gives you more control. And if you're doing a symmetrical design like me, just make sure you're working on the right objects and you don't pick the wrong object for your design. And then maybe for this one, I'm just going to do some really fun, like little lines. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of a blue line at the bottom of this. So I again was just inspired to add a little bit of white detail. Some of you may be interested in doing this, some of you may not be. So just know it's a choice. I am just demonstrating some ideas so you can consider adding detail to yours if you wish. If you don't want to and you are happy with the simple design, that's absolutely fine. My design was very simple. I really liked it, but I'm just being really playful with just adding some white design details to this. So there's no right or wrong. It's just about doing what you like to do. And that feels really good for you to make a choice on what you want to do. This is your project, right? What brings you joy? How do you want to spend your time, right? I am choosing to spend my time on all these fun little white details, right? And I'm happy with this, right? So it's a really fun exercise for you to consider for yourself, right? All right. I am just going to do a little white dot at the top of each of these triangles. All right. So I just did a little white dot at the top of those triangles. I love those little white dots. I'm going to incorporate some design in here. I have to figure out what my design's going to be though. And then I should put um, some type of design maybe on these purple objects too. See how they're all really starting to tie together? So for me, I just want a little bit of balance there. I'm going to draw a line down the middle of these purple circles. Ooh, that's cool. That came out neat. And see how how personalized, even if I just leave it at that, it is so much more personalized with just a little bit of extra white detail. Susan, isn't that incredible? With just a little bit of extra simple white lines, little white
Yeah.
triangles, little white
It
dots. Isn't it cool?
it is. It's beautiful.
It came out so fun. And I'm almost done. Again, for me, I'm just looking around. Where else do I want to add just a little tiny bit more? And it doesn't have to be a big design. It could just be something simple. So, but everyone goes through this process, and you know this, Susan, of just reflecting on your work and figuring out if you want to add anything else to it or not, you know? The metallics weren't really coming through that well. I could do some additional detail with the metallics if I wanted to. But totally, up to you guys if you want to do more or not. Um, I am going to put a little white dot on these purple ones here. So here, again, just look at your objects and kind of rinse and repeat. There's that. And I'm close. I want to do something on these blue ones. I'm not sure what it is yet. I might do like a white line on the edges. Let's see. And then I don't want to do too much. I could do a little heart in the middle. That might be cute. So I do a little bit of I'm gonna do a little bit of white around the edges, and I could do a small heart in the middle of the blue. So that could be really cute and simple. Or I could do a little star design. Let's see here. I could do a small, let's see. The nice thing is, Susan, if I paint something, or for anyone, if I paint something I don't like, I can always paint over it. Isn't that nice and convenient? So if I do this heart and I don't like it, like I'm not sure if I like it, I can let it dry. It's not the heart that I don't like. It's not the shape of the heart that I don't like. It's the theme. It's the style that I'm going with. So what I could do is this. I'll show you a couple things. I'm gonna like use my paper towel and I can kind of blot it a little bit. I can get some blue paint and just paint over it. Blue and teal. Look, I can just literally paint over it. See how easy that is to fix something? Like, and that's okay. And I love demonstrating that for Susan and friends watching, is if you paint something you don't like, you can always paint over it. Like, wasn't that so easy? So you know what? I'm going to make a choice as an artist. I'm just going to leave it as is for right now. I'm going to keep the blue the way they are, and I can decide at a future point if I want to add anything else. But at a high level, I'm really happy with this. I think it came out really beautiful. I could do a little signature down here, a little Megan, signature in the corner that it's mine, that I made it. Um, it'd be hard to do that with a little bit of maybe I'll do it with a fabric marker or something, right, Susan? Um, but I hope that you all loved this so much. Um, I hope that you experimented, you tried something new. Um, maybe you try this again. Maybe you flip your bag over and do something on the other side, right? So I want to thank you all so much for being here. If anyone would like to join us again, we would love to have you.